All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. And again, thank you to the presenters for having me. I am really pumped, really pumped to be sharing this information with everyone here today. This will definitely be different than a lot of the other presentations you have gone through before, maybe not just today, but also in general. And that's why I'm really pumped to do this. So the title of the presentation, How to Make Money in the Stock Market Investing Just One Day a Week, and how you can profit from it too without being a pro. Now, I know a lot of people, when they probably heard this ahead of time or heard it right now, they're saying, well, that can't be true. There's no way. Just think about that for a second, because I'm going to ask you later on how good it feels to not only know how to do it, but how you can make from it starting next week. Okay? Now, I have this kind of thing ahead of time. I know for people who have been tuning in, maybe you've been tuning in for a few hours, or people who are just showing up, do me a favor, try to get rid of all the distractions. You know, get rid of the Facebook, get rid of the Skype, the Twitter, all that stuff. Close the door, lock in here. This is a pure value presentation, and I want to start putting money in your pocket immediately following this presentation. So I need you guys to pay attention as best you can. Here's what you're going to learn during this training. You're going to learn how to profit in the stock market, investing just one day a week. You already knew that, but that's pretty exciting, right? You're going to learn how the top 1% of all investors are able to make money each and every year. And the good news is, taking what we're going to share with you here today, you can go ahead and do that too. Okay? You're going to learn how to profit while completely bypassing having to know about charts, balance sheets. You know, you don't need to know about profit volume profile. You don't need to know about what institutions are doing. You don't really need to know about any of that stuff. None of that is important for what we're going to be talking about here. And finally, we're going to teach you how to scale up your investments and put it all on semi-autopilot. That's right, making money in the stock market on semi-autopilot. Now, my big promise to you for being here with me right here, right now, you're going to have a blast. This is supposed to be fun. This is going to be great. It's Saturday. It's beautiful out where I am in New York City. It's beautiful, but this is where I want to be. This is going to be fun. Really energetic, get really excited, so bear with me if I get too excited. This is going to be fun. Now, if you are a new investor, I promise, not only will you feel the stock market is way simpler than you thought, but you'll be able to start making your first profits from this training. Now, if you're not new to investing, and I know we have a lot of people here watching right now that are not new to investing, I promise you'll be able to add these to your arsenal and start making money immediately. Now, here's the thing with investing, and I'm sure everyone knows this. You know, if you get one thing out of this training with me, it could very well potentially change your financial future. Because the way I think about it and the way I've always thought about it is you're always just one trade away from that financial freedom. You're always just one idea away from getting what you actually need to consistently make money in the stock market. Okay, so I need you guys to pay attention because I'm going to throw some golden nuggets at you, and I hope that one of those golden nuggets is really going to change everything for you because, like I said, you're just one trade away. So is this training for you? Are you in the right place? Well, if you're new to the stock market and want to jumpstart your success, you're in the right place. Or if you're an experienced investor and want a big-time income boost, not just an income boost or an okay income boost, a big-time income boost, this is for you. Now, if you want to supplement or replace your income, or if you're looking to achieve that true financial freedom, this is for you. And if you're looking for a specific step-by-step plan and want to avoid learning it on your own, this is for you. What I'm going to teach you, this is something anyone can do, even very part-time. Okay? So what's my goal here for this presentation? Well, in the next hour, this training is going to be worth at least $5,000 to you. That's right. These are some of the exact same methods that I use and I share with my clients and my students, and look, they work. Okay? And there's no doubt in my mind that you won't get that value out of this. So my ask, because I'm going to give you that type of value, is that you treat it as if you paid $5,000 to learn it. And again, what I mean is you can't be half interested. I really want you to limit the distractions, break out that paper and pen, be able to write some of this down, because if you go ahead and take action on this, you're going to do well. And I know, again, these online tradings, they have all the opportunity in the world to be distracted. But if you want that $5,000 of value out of this training, I need you to pay attention. And if you stay all the way to the end, look, full transparency, I don't want anyone to have any anxiety about what's going to happen at the end of this training. We do have a community which I call Market Hero. that I will extend an exclusive invitation to you for being with me here today. But you should know, if you want to join and come on board from this training, I've added in a ridiculous discount and a ton of incentives, which I want to go over here just really, really quickly. So you're going to get my core training, which is over 100 hours of video content. And the goal is to make you more money and saving you time doing so. And that's going to be a big recurring theme about what we're talking about here. That sounds pretty good, right? Now, on top of that, I'm not just going to give you, videos and send you out there. I also want to be a part of your journey. So you're going to get 24/7 lifetime access to my private Facebook mastermind group and our weekly webinar training. Now, that right now on my website is a $5,000 course. But again, because you're here with me and you're on this training, you're going to get big time discount and a ton of incentives. And at the end, it's going to be completely up to you if you want to come on board, but I wanted to be 100% transparent so you could focus on the training and not worry about what comes next. And again, I promise, if you do pay attention and you do lock in, you will get that $5,000 of value out of this training. Sound fair? Okay, great. So how is this going to work? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, maybe 45 seconds. You're going to hear about a few of my clients and students and what they did to crush it in the market. And again, what's important about this training is you're going to be able to take all of it and start acting on it to hopefully make you money immediately. Now, one of the things that's important to me, our most successful trainees have been our most active ones. They've asked the most questions. They've participated. So feel free to ask away. I have the question box right in front of me. Feel free to ask away. And the way we're going to go ahead and do that is we're going to pause a few times during the actual training. And I'm going to answer some of the questions that have to do with what we're talking about right then and there. And if there are other questions that we don't get to during the training, after the training, we'll do a full-on Q&A. Just I want to make sure that everyone's questions get answered. Does that sound fair? Okay, good. So a little bit about me. Yes, that's me in the top right corner of the screen. I am a former professional baseball player in the Kansas City Royals organization. So right off the bat, you should know I have no finance experience. I'm not a math whiz. I was a baseball player. But I've made over $1.2 million of profits in the stock market. I'm an investing coach with clients all over the world who currently have $11 million under management. So I don't work with financial advisors or hedge funds. I work with individuals. And collectively, myself and the individuals, we have $11 million in our portfolios. I'm also a traveler, a sports fanatic, and a foodie. Now, what makes this presentation different, though? I kind of hinted on it before, but I want to go over it again right here. We're not going to talk about charts or balance sheets or what was said on CNBC or Bloomberg. Right? We don't care about interest rates or FX or what the Fed is doing. Okay? We don't care about any of that. I've been on a ton of these trainings, and a lot of the presenters, albeit they're probably very smart and they probably do very, very well, so I don't want to take anything away from them, but they show all these charts, and they're drawing on all these charts and the Fibonacci and the trend and all this, and their charts end up looking like a Jackson Pollock painting. That's so confusing to me. We're not going to talk about any of that at all because the methods that I'm going to teach you don't require you to know any of that at all. That seems pretty cool, right? Now, everything we teach you can be implemented if you're a beginner or an expert. If you have 0 days of experience or 10 years of experience, you can implement all of this. Okay? And we focus on unsexy but less risky methods that have worked for years. And you'll see everything that we do has worked for a very, very long time. So real quick, guys, results are not typical. This is not a get-rich-quick type of thing. Now, I might be saying, wait, that's crazy because you've obviously done really, really well. Well, what I mean is this is not effortless earnings. You're going to have to put in a little bit of work. And just because these methods that I'm going to teach you are less risky, it doesn't mean that they're risk-free at all. Okay? And again, my results are not typical, but I'm going to walk you through some of the methods that I use to get great results. But again, please understand that my methods are not typical. So real quick in the chat, we're about to get into it right now. I just want to make sure, give me a, let's see, because everyone always asks for a 1 in the chat or a Y. Give me a 9 in the chat if we're moving at an okay pace. If I'm moving at a good pace, give me a 9 in the chat real quick just so I can make sure. It's a lot of 9s. I like to mix it up. Everyone says give me a 1 or a Y. 9 seems a little bit better to me. All right, here we go. Let's get right into it. So what you're going to discover in the next 50 minutes, okay? You're going to discover the best months of the year to invest, and you're also going to know and discover the best day of the week to invest. Now, I want to point out a few things. First of all, I call them setups. Okay, you can call them trades or methods. I call them setups because I want to make this as simple as possible for everyone. So a setup is, imagine you're sitting in your car and it's a red light. All of a sudden the light turns green. That is the setup. What do you do when the light turns green? Well, you move forward through the intersection. So the way that I invest and trade the stock market every day is just based off of things like that. Okay, so you see here, 2 setups. We didn't do a huge introduction. This training is short by design because we're taking off all the hype and all the fluff. We're not talking about concepts. Okay, this is an instructional training that's designed to give you pure value. And the reality is, that's how simple this system is. Yeah, Jackson Pollock paintings, yeah, we don't want that in our charts. All right, and to me, guys, look, these methods, they work. Right? Before we get into it, okay, before we get into these methods, I need you all to promise me something right here, right now. I need you to promise me that after I share these secrets with you, that you will take action on them immediately. So give me a 5 in the chat. We're going to mix it up. Give me a 5 in the chat if you promise that after I share these secrets with you, that you're going to start utilizing them to profit immediately and that you're going to take action by what you're hearing right here, right now. So give me a 5 in the chat if you promise to take action with these secrets. Uh-oh, someone gave me a ton of 1s. Okay, great. You guys ready? You guys excited to learn these? Good. All right. So setup number 1, I call it the quarterly setup. Okay, that's it. The quarterly setup. Nothing crazy. Now, here is a photo. Now, no one laugh at this gentleman's photo. No one laugh. I see you out there. You might be laughing. Don't laugh. I asked him to send me a photo of himself, and this is the one he did. So I don't know. This is Matt. Matt is now a student of mine. He came to one of my trainings all the way back in December of 2017. And he came to the training, didn't even have an investment account, didn't know anything really about the stock market other than a few stocks really did well last year. And he came to the training because he wanted to learn. He actually had quite a bit of student debt that he wanted to get rid of. So he came to the training, and I showed him this quarterly setup that I'm going to show you guys in just 2 minutes time. And because of that, because what I showed him, he felt he had a lot of confidence. That's something he could do. That's what he said to him. So it's something I could do. So he went out there after the training back in December, opened up his first online brokerage account, funded it, and did exactly what the quarterly setup is so far in 2018. So when I reached out to him a couple days ago before this training, I said, how you doing? He said, well, I am more than doubling the returns of the market this year. I bought once and I sold once. That's it. It can't be that easy, can it? How many people would love to double the returns of the market, especially in 2018? When it's a not so easy year to make money? Yeah. So I looked into it and I said, well, how is he actually doing? So he showed me his account. He showed me how he was doing. And I compared it to the overall market. Now, when I say the overall market for everyone out there, I'm kind of talking about the S&P 500. Okay. And for those who don't know, the S&P 500 is an index. It's a basket of about 500 primarily U.S.-based stocks from all different sectors: technology, semiconductor, consumer staple, agricultural. And basically what an index is in the S&P 500 is it's a summary of what the overall stock market is doing. So when I talk about the market, he's more than doubling the returns of the market. That's really the S&P 500 to me. So again, I went back and I did some data crunching. And I said, well, how's he doing? How's he really doing? He thinks he's doing well, but is he doing worse or better than that? Because this person didn't even have an account first time I talked to him. And as it turned out, Matt, this gentleman right here, who in December 2017 did not have an investment account, is currently beating the market by almost 700% in 2018. And what did he say? He bought once and sold once, and that's it. Awesome. How cool is that? You guys want to learn what he did? Okay, good. So again, I call this the quarterly setup. So when breaking down stock market returns, it turns out that there are months in every quarter that are more profitable than others, okay? In order to locate the profitable stuff, we must figure out what months they are. And the good news is we have, with the smiley face, of course. So when breaking down the profit and loss by months in every quarter in the overall stock market, we have found a winner. You guys want to know what the winner is? You guys excited to learn what the winner is? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Here we go. So what you're looking at on the left side of the screen right now is S&P 500 returns from 1990 to the beginning of 2018. So we're not looking at a period that is curve fitted like a few years, okay? From 1990 to the beginning of 2018, which is almost 30 years of data. So we have a pretty substantial sample size, in my opinion, here. So we're looking at here the returns if we started with a $10,000 account, investing in two scenarios. The first one, which is the gray line, which is lower on the chart, is S&P 500 returns, including only the second and third month of every single quarter. So as an example, the first quarter of the year being January, February, and March. The gray line on this chart, again, the second and third month of every single quarter, would be represented by February and March. The orange line, which clearly is outperforming at a substantial rate, is just the first month of every single quarter. Okay, so if we're talking about that first quarter of the year again, January would be in the orange line, February and March would be in the gray line. Okay, pretty good. But it's clear to me, and I know it's clear to you because you're looking at this, and I could see in the comments, that since 1990, again, almost 30 years of data, the first month of every single quarter, again, January, April, July, and October, are far more profitable than the other 8. Now remember, I said at the beginning of this, one of the big things to me is making people more money and having them spend less time doing that. Do you think something like this is making you more money and saving you time doing so? Matt did it. He did it in the first quarter. We all know January was up about 6%. We all know February and March are down. That's why he's able to beat the market, because he bought in January and didn't do anything in February and March. So how exactly did he do it? Well, at the beginning of January, so the way you would do this is at the beginning of the first month of every single quarter, so the first trading day of January, April, July, and October, when the market opens, that first trading day, we want to go into our account. We want to type in these 3 letters, SPY. That's right, the S&P 500 Index ETF on our online trading platform. And it could be any platform, okay? That's what we want to do. And we want to click these big green buttons to buy that stock, okay? That's how we get in to take advantage of what we now know. Okay, great. We just got in. How do we get out? Well, again, the last trading day of those months. So the last trading day of January, April, July, and October. So before the market closes, and again, the equity market closes at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So before the market closes, the last trading day of those months, we want to go into our online brokerage account. We want to type in those few letters, and we will go ahead and click these big red buttons to sell everything we bought earlier on in the month. Again, guys, you buy at the beginning of those months, the first month of every single quarter, January, April, July, and October, and then you sell at the end of those months. And again, you repeat it, because why not? From 1990 to the beginning of 2018, it outperformed majorly, so we repeat it. We set up quarterly reminders on our phones, on our calendars. We add sticky notes to our computers. But again, you guys all promised me. You all promised me that you would go out there and start profiting from everything I'm going to teach you on this training immediately. So let me ask you a question, beginner or pro. Can you do the quarterly setup, right? Can you know when the right time is? Can you type in those 3 letters? Can you click those big green buttons? And can you click those big red buttons at the right time? Because if you had done that since 1990, you would have made 3 times more money, because you're only investing in 4 months out of the year, in a third of the time. How cool is that? That is so, so cool. Again, guys, if you had done that since 1990, since 1990, you would have made 3 times more money in a third of the time. And again, this isn't some theory. This isn't some theory. This is backed by almost 30 years of data, getting data directly from the New York Stock Exchange himself, which costs a lot, but hey, as you guys know, it's worth it. How cool is this? How cool is this? But that's not all. Because now we know this information, okay? We know this information. We know. Now, again, future results are not going to be exactly what they were in the past. It's worked from 1990 to the beginning of 2018. In 2018, it is a wildly profitable strategy, at least when we're talking about the first month of the first quarter. January was up big. February, March, down pretty sizable too. So this is why someone named Matt, who came to one of my trainings at the beginning of December, is able to substantially outperform the market because he got exposure in January and didn't have any in February and March. But now that we know this, okay, yeah, you could buy SPY, but there's a ton more you can do too, okay? If you wanted to utilize futures, if you're a futures trader, or you're interested in using a little bit more leverage, could you make money knowing this using futures? Yeah, absolutely. Well, how about options? Could you maybe buy calls or sell puts, or sell a put spread or buy a call spread? Yeah, you could do that for sure. Or you could cover stock, right? You could be long at stock in the first month of the quarter and then cover it the second and third. Yeah, you can absolutely do that for sure. There's nothing stopping anyone out there from doing this, okay? Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, so I said we were going to stop a few times during the training so that you guys can get your questions answered. I think this is a good stopping point. If you have any questions specifically, about the quarterly setup, I'm going to take about 30 seconds here to chug a little bit of water. My throat's getting a little raspy. If you have any questions at all about this setup or anything else that we've mentioned so far in the training, this would be a great time to answer those, just so I can make sure before we move on to the other stuff that you guys really have a strong understanding about that quarterly setup so that you can go out there like you said you would and start doing this immediately. How did he get 671%? So you basically take the gain of February and you compare it to the overall market, which was down for the year. So that's how he got the 671%. So he utilized the fact, so he bought the first day of January and he sold the last day. In doing that this year, he made, I think it was about 5.88% in the S&P 500. And he hasn't done anything since. He's just getting ready to obviously buy in April, right? Because that's the first month of the second quarter. And obviously he hasn't done anything in February, March. February, March, as you know, not too good. What about 2009? So 2009, October wasn't great, but obviously this is over a 28-year period. So there are a ton of ebbs and flows. So you have a little bit of a sell-off, during the dot-com bubble at the beginning of 2000. Obviously, October 2008 was an ugly month, down 10%. But again, this is over a long, long, long period of time, almost 30 years, big sample size. Can you use options and improve results? So one of the things that I don't have time to talk about, I don't want to name names, but I'll just call out the question. The question was, can you use options and improve results? So obviously, the data that we get is pure S&P 500 data. So it's like you owned SPY. So obviously, there are ways to substantially improve results off of that, like futures, like options. Totally, you can use options if you want. The data that we get is just based on the price movement of the S&P 500. You showed charts for the quarterly setup for January. Do you have it for the other three, April, July, and October? So what we showed you was from, maybe I'll go back here. What you're looking at right here is not just January. What you're looking at here is the first month of every single quarter. So it's January, April, July, and October. That's what the orange line here is. And the gray line is all the other months. So it's not just January. Okay. are you only trading the SPY, be it futures options? So great question. The data that we get is based off of the S&P 500. Okay, so that's the one that I have 100% confidence in because we're getting the data directly from the exchange. Now, that being said, as we know, there are indexes out there like the NASDAQ or the Dow that I don't have the numbers for, but they move, I would say, pretty consistently with the S&P 500. So I'm just showing you guys the data. Obviously, within that data, there are many different trades to be made. And at the same time, there are many different stocks to use, index to use, products to use like options or futures. But I just want you guys to know this is the data. There's a ton of ways you could take advantage of it. One of them is just buying SPY by itself. But again, this is just the data. Can you short the market the other 2 months? I have never done that. There's probably nothing stopping you from doing that, but the numbers don't necessarily report that or they don't necessarily show that being a very, very profitable strategy. I've never done that, but again, you have the data now. Maybe it's useful. Is this principle applicable? Tongue twister. For forex as well. So this data again is just S&P 500. So I don't know about forex. Same strategy works for 2001 and 2008. So again, 2001 and 2008 are in this data set. You know, we do see sell-offs, but again, this is over a 30-year period. So 2001 and 2008 are absolutely factored into this. No questions asked. Okay. Let me get to maybe 1 or 2 more questions, then we'll move on here. All right, there's a question from Robert. I'll answer that at the end. This is kind of a long one. During bear markets, would you apply this strategy? Actually, the way I'll answer that is like, how does anyone know that there is a bear market going on? Because bear markets can end any day. So again, this is to show you the data over a 28-year period, and obviously in 2018 for the first quarter, it's wildly profitable. To me though, again, I don't care about bull market, bear market. I know something has worked over 28 years. It gives me a lot of confidence to move forward with it. If you did it like I did it and like Matt did it at the beginning of 2018, you got all of the gains and none of the losses. So I see there's a bunch more questions here. I will get to those at the end. I just want to move on to the next one, if that's cool. Is that okay with everyone? Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. Setup number 2, and this is kind of the baby maker. This is the one that was part of all the marketing material for this, and I called this the weekly setup. So when I got out of baseball and I got into investing, I started doing really, really well, and I was part of a lot of like ex-baseball player networks. And I met this gentleman. His name was Bob, and Bob came to me. He's a mechanic, and he really wanted to get into the market. And the reason he wanted to get into the market was because he wanted to supplement his income. And he felt like his income in his normal job was very much limited. There was like a ceiling to what he could do. So he came to me and he said, hey, I want to get into the market because I want to supplement my income. Is there anything you could do? So we started talking about it, and he said, you know, I really want to invest, but I don't know if I have the time to devote to it. Okay, so Bob and I met. We met the first time in a one-on-one, and what we did was we set up his account because he didn't even have an account. We talked a little bit, and then I showed him this weekly setup that I'm going to share with all of you in just like, I don't know, 30 seconds time. And after that, he said, good, that's something I think I could do, even though I have no investing experience whatsoever. I think I could do your weekly setup, and I'm going to go out there and start doing it. Let's set up a couple sessions, months, weeks down the road, so you can teach me more. And I said, great. So we set up a couple of sessions, and he never showed up to any of those sessions from that point on. I couldn't believe it. I was doing the weekly setup, and I was doing well. I knew he was doing well if he was following it. And I was like, there's plenty more where that came from. I had plenty more in the tank to share with him. So finally, a year down the road, he emailed me, and he said, hey, Stephen, I'm really sorry for blowing you off. That was disrespectful. I never should have done it. But the reality is I didn't need anything else from you because I made 41% investing in the last year just using the weekly setup. Imagine being him, someone who felt like they were limited with their income with their current job, who wanted to get in the stock market to supplement their income, and trading just 1 day a week made 41% in his first year investing. Imagine how awesome that would be. Imagine how much that changed his financial future. It's amazing. It's amazing. And remember, guys, just like the last one, it's pure number-based. It's not a lot of fluff. Let's dive right into it. So the weekly setup, and again, this is how I go about every single thing I do. So when breaking down stock market returns, okay, it turns out that there are days of the week that are consistently profitable. And wouldn't you know, actually beat the market. Guys, I got to tell you, I do this trade every single week, and I talk about this trade whenever I'm part of these events, but I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. That's how exciting this is because it works. It so works, and it's working again in 2018. Are you guys excited to learn this? I mean, this is awesome. This is awesome. So in order to locate this profitable setup, we must figure out what days they are. And the good news for you is we have, and you're just 10 seconds away from finding it out. So in breaking down the profit and loss by day in the overall stock market, hey, look, we have found a winner. Remember, guys, no Fibonacci, no trend lines, no hanging man candlestick, none of that, okay? None of that is important to what we do here. Here we go. So we're looking at on the chart here on the left are S&P 500 returns in the black line. So let me get my cursor here. In the black line, S&P 500 returns, okay? And then what we also have in our other lines are S&P 500 returns broken down by day, okay? So we see at the top of this chart in red is Tuesday. We have the blue line, which is Thursday, the green line, which is Wednesday, the gray line, which is Monday, and the, let's call it, gold line, which is Friday. Guys, how cool is this? Okay? Because it's clear to me that since 2000, so almost 18 years of data, okay? So again, not just curve fitted to like last week when it worked, 18 years of data, okay? If you had just bought on Tuesday only, you would have beaten the overall market. Let me repeat that. From 2000 to the beginning of 2018, okay, if you had owned stocks on Tuesday only, or the S&P 500 on Tuesday only, you would have beaten the overall returns. So you would not have to have been laying awake at night worrying on Thursday if the market was going to crap out because you're going to be gone. You wouldn't have to read your Barron's every weekend. You wouldn't have to be on Investor's Business Daily for hours every night. You wouldn't have to look at your charts and draw on all your trend lines. Would have been pretty simple, huh? Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, great. How do we get in? Well, how do we take advantage of that? Before the market closes on Monday, okay, we want to log on to our online brokerage account. We want to type in these three letters, SPY, and we want to click these big green buttons to buy that stock. That's how we get in. We're going to take advantage of the after-hour session on Monday. And then when are we going to hold it to? The end of the day on Tuesday. So before the market closes on Tuesday, we're going to go ahead, we're going to log into our online brokerage account. We're going to type in those three letters, SPY, which again is the S&P 500 Index ETF. We're going to click those big red buttons to sell all the stock we bought previously. Guys, if you had just done that since 2000, you would have beat the market. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Again, what do? At the end of the day on Monday, we get in. At the end of the day on Tuesday, we get out. Rinse and repeat that, because why not? Obviously. So we're going to set up a weekly reminder on our phone, on our calendar. We're going to add a sticky note to our computers. But guys, you promised me you would take action. You would take action with this immediately following the training. So can you do this weekly setup? At the end of the day on Monday, can you log on to your account? Can you type in these three letters? Can you push those green buttons? Yeah. At the end of the day on Tuesday, can you put those red buttons? Yeah, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Yeah, because if you had done all of that since 2000, you would have beaten the overall market. Now, there were a bunch of questions on the quarterly strategy about how does this work in 2008, et cetera, et cetera. How does this work in bear markets? Well, I explained how that was about a 30-year study. Well, let's look at how this fares, how the Tuesday trade fares or the weekly setup trade fares when things don't go so right. Well, as we can see here, following the S&P 500, 2008 to 2009, the black line, which is, again, the overall stock market, saw a pretty sizable sell-off. Wouldn't you agree? Well, when you know, the Tuesday time, during that time period, did a total 180. It went straight up. So when the market went straight down in 2008, 2009, buying on Tuesday only was a really profitable strategy. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, definitely looks like it worked in 2008 for sure. But what about 2018? Well, a few weeks ago at the beginning of February, we had a pretty nasty sell-off. You know, look at some of these headlines. Stock market plunges as market enters correction territory. The Dow plunges 1,175 points. Worst point decline in history. I think in that week there was like $6 trillion of value lost. But let's dive into that week and see how this method, fared. Well, that entire week, the week of February 5th, 2018, so again, very, very recent, the market went down 5%. But what do you know? Tuesday of that week, okay? Tuesday of that week was up almost 2%. But that's not it. Everyone on this call, everyone on this training right now probably experienced some level of pain last week. Last week was an even worse week for the overall market, losing almost 6%. But wouldn't you know, guys, Tuesday was the only green day. That's right. If you had followed this as your only method last week, well, you would have escaped some serious losses. But again, that's not all. Because now we know this information, okay? We know that Tuesday from 2000 to the beginning of 2018, okay, we know it works. We know it worked last week when the market lost 6% of its value in just 5 trading days. And we know it worked when the market lost 10% of its, 5% of its value at the beginning of February, with Tuesday being up almost 2%. So we know it works, right? Tuesday, check, works. Thursday looks pretty good. That blue line right here, Thursday looks pretty good. And looking at Wednesday, that green line, it doesn't seem to break the bank. So now that we know this information, there's obviously a lot of things within this that we can do, right? And obviously Friday stinks. Everyone's afraid to hold their stock over the weekend. Friday stinks. So knowing this information, Tuesday from 2000 to the beginning of 2018 beat the market by 18%. Okay, so you get 18% more of the gains in just 20% of the time. Again, a very, very big reoccurring thing for me. Making more money and spending less time doing so, okay? Big, big thing. So Tuesday beat the market by 18%. Now, if we combine Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, since 2000 to the beginning of 2018, that method alone beat the market by 89%. So it almost doubled the returns of the market. How many of you would love to double the returns of the overall market? Give me a 7 in the chat if you would have loved to just own stocks on Tuesday only for the last 18 years. Give me a 7 in the chat if you would have loved to have done that. Good. Fantastic. That's a lot of 7s. No one frees their computer for typing this in so hard. Of course, absolutely. So on top of that, if we combine those Tuesday and Thursday gains, right, and if we got really saucy, okay, which I didn't do, okay, full disclosure, I didn't do this, but if we got really saucy and we sold short on Friday, we would have beaten the overall market by 161%. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that is the weekly setup. I think this is a great spot to stop. And if you guys have any questions right now on how to go ahead and execute this, this would be a great time to ask that. And I'm just going to take a couple swigs of water here real quick. The question is, why are you giving this away? If it's just generosity, this is laughable. Some of the simplest things of the world are most impressive. What is your motivation? So without getting into this too much, I think that's a great question to ask. I have so many more of these that are just the same, that are on this day do this, that I'm totally okay giving this away. At the same time, this trade will not be saturated until maybe $10 trillion every Tuesday are following this. And I've done really well for myself in the stock market doing things like this. I was a baseball player. I had no experience whatsoever in the market, and I'm happy to give away things like this because this won't impact my bottom line negatively at all. So that's why I'm totally okay giving away this information. How about trading only Tuesdays in only the first quarter of the month? So that's a great question. I don't have an answer for you, but I'll probably have my team go ahead and dig in and find out that bit of information. That is a phenomenal question. Missed it. Sell on Tuesday, end of day. So you buy at the end of the day on Monday, and you sell at the end of the day on Tuesday. Your trading eliminates the use of options, right? No. There are ways to integrate options to the weekly setup as well as the quarterly setup. So no, again, I just say SPY because the data that I've gotten from the exchanges is just about the S&P 500 and its price movement. Within these, the quarterly setup and the weekly setup, there's ways to use options and futures to apply leverage to make even more than we're talking about here. For the strategy, hold by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So from 2000 to present, from 2000 to the beginning of 2018, Tuesday outperformed the market. Wednesday was like a break-even day, and Thursday did okay. But those weren't negative days consistently. So one of the ways you can expand on what we just showed you was to buy at the end of the day on Monday and sell at the end of the day on Thursday. Seems like it would have a good effect on day trading. Yeah, totally. And then sell on Friday. So I've never done this selling on Friday. I've never done it. I don't do short selling with stock. I don't like that. I've never done that. However, since 2000, the beginning of 2018, Friday was a losing day. My take would be to use options. My action you ask us to would be to take buy one strike out of the money, call options for both setups. Does that look feasible? So I could get into a lot of depth about what strategies are best. Let's hold that for the Q&A at the end if that's okay. Okay, good. It looks like the questions are kind of drying up for this specific method. If you have any more questions, we're going to get to the Q&A in just a couple minutes. So feel free to ask away then, and I'll stay on as long as Jeanette wants me to at that point. But let's move on to this point. I'm just going to take a swig of water here real quick. All right, so let's recap where we are to this point. First, we talked about the quarterly setup, which talked about owning or getting long exposure to the S&P 500. Obviously, there's a lot of ways you can do it. The first month of every single quarter, January, April, July, and October. Now, again, this is going back to 1990. So there are ups and downs in there, as we could see. Hey, this didn't make us money necessarily at the dot-com bust or in the financial crisis, but over a longer period of time, this is something that did work. Again, you get 3 times the return in a third of the time. So we talked about that. We also, talked about the weekly setup, where we talked about owning the S&P 500 on Tuesday only from the beginning of 2000 to the beginning of 2018, how that would have outperformed the overall market. And not only that, but was a very, very profitable method in the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009. And on top of that, last week, it was the only day that was positive. And every other day last week, when the market lost almost 6%, was a negative day. It was ugly. So at the beginning of this training, I promised you that you would learn new ideas that would start making you money immediately, whether you are a beginner or a pro. Okay, so my question for you is, was our time together valuable? Did you enjoy this training? Do you understand how I look at the market in a more simplistic fashion here? And can you see how these setups will allow you to profit immediately? Okay, whether you are a beginner or a pro, absolutely. And do you see how little time and knowledge is really needed to invest in the stock market? Yeah, absolutely. Now, the truth is, guys, I have complete confidence in you. And of course, you promised me at the beginning that you're going to be able to go out there and start making money from this immediately. Okay, and I know that these methods work. I do them, and they're backed by decades of data. But of course, we only spent about 35 minutes together at this point, okay? And you did learn a lot, but there's only so much we can go over in this short amount of time, okay? This was only 30 minutes together. Imagine spending months, days, or weeks together, or years together. How much more valuable that would be. I'm sure that would be crazy valuable, right? Yeah. So at the beginning, I also promised you an opportunity to join me in taking the next steps together in your financial journey and joining our Market Hero community. It's designed to give you the exact step-by-step formula for crushing it in the market and giving you mountains and mountains of success. Because look, guys, the quarterly setup, that's great. The weekly setup, that's great. But the truth is, they're really only the tip of the iceberg. And like I mentioned to the other person, I'm totally cool giving away that weekly setup because I have so many more where that came from, and they're never going to be saturated, okay, until $10 trillion is trying to follow those, okay? And again, Market Hero, it's designed to get you results big and fast, okay? So why wouldn't you consider something that would practically guarantee your success, okay? So this is why I'm excited and I'm pleasured to extend to you an exclusive invitation to stock market domination by becoming a market hero. Okay, so if you want to achieve true financial freedom or supplement your current income, okay, by following a proven, modular, step-by-step framework that will leave no guesswork, then Market Hero is specifically for you. So I'm going to take about a minute here, just explain what it is, and then we'll get into the Q&A. So here's what's finally going to work for you, okay? So here's what you're going to get. You're going to get my profit-crushing setups. It's a $5,196 value. Here's a little bit of a preview of what they are, okay? Setup number 3 is profitable 91% of the time for an average of 10.75% return on investment. And it's a once-a-month trade. And in fact, I send an email notification to all my market heroes telling them exactly when to do it and how to do it. And what's really, really cool is, hey, this worked last week. This gentleman, TC, he risked $3,300 to make $1,700. He made 52% on his money overnight just following setup number 3. How many of you would just love to make 52% on their money overnight just by following exactly what setup number 3 is? How amazing is that? Okay? You also get something like setup number 7. It's profitable 71% of the time for an average of 14.8% return on investment. And for those people that maybe have a little bit of smaller accounts, it only costs you $250 to execute. Yeah. There's more. Setup number 14, the 8 days of the year responsible for 36% of all market gains. That's right, the 8 days of the year responsible for all this. And what's really cool is that just like setup number 3, well, setup number 14 has worked really, really recently. Here's another one of my students. His name is John. He said, thanks for the recommendation. I got in a little late and the SPY was headed north. I bought whatever call that was. I sold at $1.88 for a 42% profit in 1 day. And again, you get email notifications and text notifications on all of this. Man, 42% overnight based off of a recommendation from me. So this required him to do 0 minutes of research. Awesome. And you get, because you're here with me today, you get lifetime memberships to this and updates. I tinker with old setups all the time. I make new ones all the time. And the really cool thing about these profit-crushing setups is not only they're going to make you a lot of money, but they're going to allow you to get rid of a lot of things that you won't need anymore. It's going to save you a ton of time and money by getting rid of newsletters, books, financial advisors, newspapers, all those things that, let's be honest, haven't really moved the needle as much as you wanted them to. I actually sent out a survey a couple weeks ago to my market heroes, and they said on average, once they become a market hero, by getting rid of all this extra stuff that they don't need, they save $213 a month. I think that sounds pretty sweet, don't you? And what I really like about these setups is they work in every single type of account. So if you have a retirement account, they all work in retirement accounts. If you have a cash account or a big account or a small account, they work in every single type of account. You know, that setup that I showed you, that was an overnight setup that made one of my students, TC, 52% on his investment overnight. Imagine having a margin account and a retirement account, and once a month coming in there and doing that same trade in both accounts. And that's it for the month. Imagine doing that. Again, guys, that's so possible. How simple is it? It's so possible. So look, the profit-crushing setups, they're going to make you a lot of money, okay? But that's not all we have for you. So you're going to get my profit-crushing setups, and you're also going to get my automation tools. The automation tools are really cool because, again, this is all about making you more money and saving you time doing so. I know with the weekly setup, you guys are chomping at the bit. You're saying, yeah, if I had done that from the year 2000 to the beginning of 2018, I would have made more money than the market, and I would have only did it just one day a week. So that's the whole point with Market Hero, to make you more money and saving you time doing so. On top of all that, you're going to get my done-for-you tools and cheat sheets and my morning game plan. So total value Market Hero, $9,589. Now I want to explain a little bit about the tools and cheat sheets. You know, this cheat sheet is what I personally use before I make any investment or trade. And what's really cool is you put this cheat sheet out in front of you, you can go look at a stock, okay? And the stock will, and the cheat sheet will ask you 3 questions and 3 questions only, okay? And depending on your answer to those 3 questions, it will reveal to you the best setup, the best trade, the best method to go ahead and execute. So when you think about something like this cheat sheet, you know, imagine you're sitting at home, okay, and you're investing by yourself. Now, full disclosure, I have a 13.3-inch MacBook Air, and that's what my trading setup looks like. I know other people have bigger ones like this gentleman does, but imagine you're sitting at home, okay, investing by yourself. With these cheat sheets, I mean, it's kind of like I'm standing over your shoulder, and I'm telling you exactly what to do, like a photoshopped version of myself. It completely takes the guesswork out of it, okay? It doesn't get more step-by-step handheld in investing, okay? And on top of that, you wake up every morning like me. Your hair's all over the place. You don't know what's going on, but like me, you turn over, and the first thing you do is you look at your phone, and you get an email from me that looks like this. We have a watch list called my Black Book of Stocks that is the 80 or so stocks. That's all we look at any day. And what we do every night is we run a large algorithm through all of those stocks and come up with the best setup for every single one of those stocks. You want to do something in Facebook? Do setup number 7. You want to do something in Apple? Do setup number 1. And it's all based on that 20 to 30 years of data. Again, guys, how amazing is that? The exact same game plan that I'm doing every single day. So again, what you're going to get in Market Hero, my profit-crushing setups, my automation tools to save you time while you make more money, my done-for-you tools and cheat sheets, and my morning game plan so that you're thinking every single day the exact same way I am, okay? But look, I could do that and just set you off and you go ahead and make money. But the reality is I want to guarantee your success more than that. So for that, you're going to be invited to my live weekly webinars where once a week we're going to get into a webinar and you guys are going to ask me all the questions you have, and I'm going to stay on until we answer all your questions. And on top of that, I want you to have 24/7 access to myself and my team. So I'll invite you to my private Facebook mastermind group, okay? And we're in there every single day. People have questions about what trades to make. I give them answers, or my traders give them answers immediately. So again, not only am I giving you over 100 hours of video content, my automation tools, my cheat sheets, but I'm also going to be there together with you, okay? Total value of Market Hero, $15,583. But look, like I told you at the beginning of this training, look, this training is worth $5,000 to you. And we've proven that beyond a shadow of a doubt that that was true. And as I also said at the beginning of this training, I'm not going to charge you $15,583 to get access to this training, to the software, to the tools, to the cheat sheets, to the Facebook group. But I have a question for you, and I want you to be honest. If I did charge you $15,583, would it be worth it? Look, if all it did was make you very profitable by doing trades just 8 days of the year, would it be worth it? I mean, you just saw from one of my students last week made 52% on his money overnight by utilizing this 8-day-of-the-year strategy. So would it be worth it? Any day of the week, okay? If all it did was supplement your income by making a few extra $1,000 every month for the rest of your life in a semi-automated fashion, would it be worth it? Yeah, totally be worth it, totally. And if all it did was by utilizing my daily reminders, allow you to never have to worry about your finances ever again and allow you to spend more money with your time and travel, would it be worth it? Yeah, absolutely it would be worth it, totally. And look, guys, the total value of Market Hero, $15,583. But everything in Market Hero, okay, the video course, the tools, the cheat sheets, the notifications, everything in there is the exact step-by-step blueprint for how I was able to take an account that started at $8,000 and turn it into what you see in front of you. It kind of puts it into a little bit of a different perspective now, doesn't it? How many of you, if you could, would write me a check right now for $15,583 to learn the blueprint, the exact step-by-step blueprint of how to create an account this size? Absolutely you would. Because, guys, it's not a cost. It's an investment. And let's get it totally out there, guys. We all know people in the stock market. We all know people out there in life, in their other jobs or in business. We all know that one thing that's very similar to all the people that are very, very successful is they never stop investing in themselves because they know the investments in themselves are the highest return on capital that they could ever get in their lives. And I'm sure you guys can see why I'm able to charge $14,995 for one-on-one coaching, because those people know the ROI they're going to get on that far exceeds the cost of their investment. So you can see why Market Hero is a steal at $15,583. And like I told you, this is $5,000 on my website for the general public. But as I also mentioned, for you being here on this training with me right here, right now, that I would have some goodies and a heavy, heavy discount. So you can get started today with Market Hero for just $9.97. And I want you to go ahead and get started today. Go to stephenbrooks.co/trade and get started right here, right now, guys. This $9.97 is a special discounted price for the people who are on this training right here, right now. Now, I have this saying with myself and my company, okay? If I can't make you money, then I don't deserve yours, okay? Even though this is a very, very small investment for the crazy amount of value you're going to get for the rest of your life. I'm going to be doing this for 30 years down the road. So because of that, I have a very unique money-back guarantee, and it's kind of a two-parter. So let me explain a little bit. Part one, all I ask is that you give a little bit of an effort to become a market hero. So I ask that you learn and try 5 of these setups. And if you learn and try 5 of these setups and they don't work for you, just let me know, show me they didn't work out for you, and I'll give you your money back. No questions asked in the first 30 days. No questions asked. And on top of that, I'm so confident that you will succeed when you become a market hero that not only will I give you all your money back in the first 30 days, but I will also give you $250 on top of that, okay? On top of that, because I know, I'm sorry, that it's stephenbrooks.co, not stephenbrooks.com. There's a question about it. It's stephenbrooks.co/trade, not com. Anyway, so guys, I know you're going to be so successful that I will give you your money back in the first 30 days, as well as a $250 cash on top, because I know you're going to be so successful. So again, what you're going to get when you invest in yourself today in Market Hero, you're going to get my profit crushing setups to make you money. You're also going to get my automation tools to save you time doing it. You're going to get my done for you tools and cheat sheets, my morning game plan, so that you're looking at the exact same thing I'm looking at every single day, okay? Every single day. On top of that, I want to guarantee your success, okay? Guarantee your success, okay? My live weekly webinars, okay? We're going to be on once a week until all your questions are answered. And on top of that, you're also going to get access to my 24/7 private Facebook mastermind group, okay? 24/7. Myself, my support team, my traders are in there answering all the questions from all my market heroes to make sure, hey, maybe you're not so confident about something you're doing. Well, we'll give you an answer. Again, total value of Market Hero, total value, $15,583. Again, go to stephenbrooks.co/trade, make it happen today. It's a heavily discounted price for the people that are on this training right now for just $9.97. But again, I told you not only was I going to give you a discount, but I was going to give you some awesome freebies to throw on. So if you become a Market Hero today, and today only, you're going to get my profit screaming notifications, which is a $10,000 value. And again, going to that link right here, right now, only today can you get this. Imagine you're taking your kids to school one day. You didn't have a chance to look at the morning game plan. You didn't have a chance to figure out what you're going to do in the market. And all of a sudden, you get a message from me. And it says, hey, Hero, well, looks like there's going to be an excellent opportunity to put on a heavy iron condor this morning in Facebook. Remember to stay small. Again, guys, when I'm going to do something, you're going to know. This bonus alone is worth well over your small investment today in Market Hero, guys. It doesn't get any more done than that. On top of that, because you're here with me today, okay, and you invest today, you're also going to get a free hour-long power session with me. Now, for everyone else out there on the street who's not on this training right now, that's currently a $997 value, which is the same exact cost as the course in general. And you can get that absolutely free when you go to that link, when you become a Market Hero right here, right now, and make it happen today. So guys, get started for, again, $997. This is a $5,000 course for everyone else out there. But for you being here today, it's just for $997. So go ahead, get started. And again, it's backed by that full 30-day money-back guarantee. And if you actually do qualify for that, you get the $250 on top of that. Now, let's sweeten the deal a little bit more. If you live in the United States, you can qualify for what's called PayPal credit. So we did a deal with PayPal. And what it is if you go to stephenbrooks.co/trade, you'll see a button that says check out with PayPal. You go ahead and click that button and click the PayPal credit once you get onto PayPal. What will happen there is you will be able to come on board and invest in your success today with Market Hero, and you won't have to pay for 6 months. PayPal will pay immediately. Okay? PayPal will pay immediately, and you don't have to pay anything back to PayPal for 6 months. So you could become a Market Hero today via PayPal credit if you live in the United States for free. And you don't have to pay for 6 months. Guys, how amazing is that? Go ahead and get started today because, guys, this is a today and today only offer. You want to take advantage of this right now. And again, if you live in the United States and you use PayPal credit, you don't have to pay anything for 6 months. So again, guys, you're going to get the profit-crushing setups to make you a ton of money, all backed by that 30-day money-back guarantee plus that $250 cash if you do qualify for it. You're going to get my weekly webinar training, private Facebook mastermind group, and on top of that, because you're here with me right now today, you're going to get my profit screaming notifications and my one-on-one consultation, which are many multiples of the price of admission today. So at this point, I'll hang around for a few minutes. I know there's a bunch of questions going on in the chat. I'm happy to answer all of the questions you guys have, or until Jeanette kicks me off. But guys, go to that website, get started today, invest in your success, invest in your future, backed by that full 30-day money-back guarantee. $9.97 in US dollars, yes. $9.97 in US dollars. Is this a subscription or a one-time payment? This is a one-time payment. Because you're here with me, you are grandfathered in at $9.97 for life. So anything that's added on, you don't have to pay a dime. Nothing will be removed from the course that you'll have to pay for additionally. This is a lifetime membership. This is not a once a year cost. This is a lifetime membership. Again, this is $5,000 for everyone else walking the street, but for you today, you get all this value, that $15,583 value for just $9.97 today, but today only. Is this $9.97 a year? No, this is not a year. This is not a subscription. This is a one-time payment. So if you guys do have any other questions, pop them into the chat right now. Pop them into the chat right now, and I'll be happy to answer them. So what qualifies for the $250 cash? So I'll just go over, if you wouldn't mind, the person that asked that question, I'll just go over what the full 30-day money-back guarantee is again. So what it is if you learn, okay, and try 5 of the setups in my course, in Market Hero, if you learn and try 5 of those and you execute those the right way, okay, and you don't make money from those 5, take a screenshot from your account, whatever it is, send them over to me because, again, if I can't make you money, I don't want yours. So if you can't make money from those 5 setups that you followed, send me an email with that information, and if you do it in the first 30 days, I'll give you all your money back as well as the $250 on top of that. So that's what the 30 days is. How large of an account is required to start? So what I say to people is, we have people that have small accounts, like the few $100 to the few $1,000. We have people that have 7-figure accounts. There are methods and strategies for all different accounts. So we still have a lot of accounts that people with $2,000 in an account are very, very successful with. And we have obviously other things that people with much, much larger accounts can absolutely take advantage of, and they're more tailored to those accounts. So again, this was important to me to be able to benefit people with small accounts, benefit people with big accounts, benefit people with little investment experience, and to really help people with a lot more experience scale. So we set it up that way. And again, one of the setups that I showed you here only requires $250 to do, and it averages 14.8% return. All right, for setup number 2, just to clarify, buy just before the close on Monday and out either Tuesday or Thursday. So again, the way the weekly setup works is Tuesday outperformed the overall market from 2000 to the beginning of 2018. And the way that worked was buying the S&P 500 before the close on Monday and selling it before the close on Tuesday. Now, with that, you saw that from 2000 to the beginning of 2018, Wednesday was kind of like a break-even day, but Thursday was a positive day. So again, if you did that, if you just did the Tuesday from 2000 to the beginning of 2018, you would have beaten the market. But obviously, if you just did Tuesday to the end of the day on Thursday, you would have done better on that. So again, within the quarterly setup, within the weekly setup, there are ways within that to substantially expand on what you saw here, as you guys know. If I got bearish on Friday SPY trade, when would you initiate the position? Thursday afternoon or Friday AM? So if you did, and again, this is not something I tell people to go do, but if you wanted to take advantage of the fact that since 2000, the beginning of 2018, that Friday was overall a negative day, you would want to sell before the close on Thursday and then buy on the close on Friday. Are the weekly setups options? So again, the data that we gave for you for the weekly setup and the quarterly setup is based off of the pricing that we get from the New York Stock Exchange. We have a deal with them. They give us all this data that's not necessarily available to the public. So with knowing that data, again, there's a lot of different strategies and methods we can do. And again, the quarterly and the weekly ones are great. They're just the tip of the iceberg for what we have in Market Hero. So you guys should be going to stephenbrooks.co/trade and starting to really, really kill it immediately. So the weekly setup, can you use options? Yeah, there are ways to use options for sure. Do you have a daily setup you are willing to share? So the answer is yes. I have a daily setup, and the daily setup is there's a period of the day that since 2009, so about 10 years of data, is responsible for 49% of all market returns. So that's what we have. It's in Market Hero. Am I willing to share it right now? I am, but I don't think I have enough time to do that. Can we day trade with this? Totally. So we have people that are asking questions right now about like futures and stuff. So one thing that I can think of off the top of my head right now that we have for futures traders is there's two things. So number one is there's an hour overnight that is the most profitable hour in a 24-hour period. And obviously, you could really take advantage of that if you're a futures trader. We have a 15-minute period every single day that's responsible for, like I said, 49% of all market returns. So totally as a day trader, you can do that. We have trend trades that you can absolutely do. But again, they're all thought about the same way, where there's a setup. Okay, you're at your car and it's a red light. The light turns green. That's a setup. What are you supposed to do? So they're all based off of that. And right now, we just did a big study, like a very lengthy study on correlation between S&P futures and VIX futures, and when there is a tell of when stocks are going to go up or down, and that's definitely something for day traders. Would you recommend TD Ameritrade as a broker? Okay, so good question. What we're doing here in Market Hero can be done with any brokerage account, with any type of account. So it could be done with E-Trade, Ninja Trader, Schwab, TD Ameritrade. It could be done with IRAs, 401ks. It could be done with all of it. Full disclosure, I use Thinkorswim, and I've just been using it my whole entire trading career. So that's why I use it. They're not paying me to say that. I don't get any benefit out of you signing up for a TD Ameritrade account or a Thinkorswim account. So that's what I use. But again, you can use all of these methods in any type of brokerage account. Does that answer your question? Someone's asking for proof for my results. I just showed you a screenshot of mine, but if you're interested in learning more, you can go ahead and just email me. I'm happy to give you some more stuff. I'm just going back to see if there are any other questions here. Again, it's not a subscription. This is a one-time thing. And again, like I said, we have to be totally honest with each other. We might not want to admit it, but the people around us in our lives, people we've known that have been the most successful, we know for a fact they're the ones that consistently invest in themselves to learn more, to be smarter, to be more educated. They are the ones that invest in themselves the most. And wouldn't you know, those are the ones that get the most returns. You know, I spend over $10,000 a year investing in working with people who are even better investors and traders than I do, because I know that $10,000 will be worth it a year, because if they say one thing that really hits home and that works, it's worth so many multiples of that investment. And that's the same thing with Market Hero. It's worth it for, again, just $9.97 today. It's worth it if there's just one thing in there that really either kickstarts your career, gets you out of a rut, or scales your investments. Do you buy SPY options or SPY straight? So again, the study that we're showing, okay, is based off of getting numbers from the New York Stock Exchange of what the S&P 500 did, okay? And obviously, if you know what the S&P 500 did, buying SPY by itself will get you the exact same returns, except you'll probably get a little bit more because of the dividend, depending on how long you hold it. So within those, there are futures trades that are beneficial. There are options trades that are beneficial. There are times where QQQ is a better bet than SPY. So within that, there are a lot of things that you can do other than just buying SPY by itself. So yeah, you could do options. Of course, you could do futures, all that stuff. What's your email? Excuse me. Let me just take a swig of water real quick. Hit me up at support@stonybrookssecurities.com if you do have any questions. That's the email. But again, guys, you get my profit-crushing setups, which I showed you just recently. 2 of my students, one made 50% overnight, one made 40% overnight. Guys, who would say no to that? Okay, so that's you get those that they're to make you money. Okay, you get everything else. You get the 30-day money-back guarantee. And then you're going to work with me in our weekly webinar training and our private Facebook mastermind group. And because you're here today on this training with Jeanette and I, you're going to get my profit screaming notifications, which again is a $10,000 value, and a free one-on-one consultation, which itself is just a $997 value. So again, you get all that value for just $997 today, guys. Again, the people around you who are the most successful, you know this and I know this, are the ones who invest in themselves, because they know the investments they make in themselves are the ones in life that give them the greatest returns. Hey, Steven, I accidentally used a different email address and now I can't get in. Please help. Just email me at support@stonybrookssecurities.com and I'll help you out with that. Any trainings for those with less experience to assist them in doing the strategies you have? Yes. So if you think about the setups that we talked about here, it really doesn't get more basic than the first trading day of the year or the first trading day of January, buy this stock, and then don't do anything for the rest of the month and just sell the last trading day of that month. So it doesn't get more basic than that. And for you, we have plenty of those where it's just on this day, do X, Y, and Z, and don't do anything else. So for someone who's less experienced, yeah, we totally have stuff like you. I ordered and it said to check by email, but nothing sent. Just shoot me an email if you're having any problems with that. Sometimes if the system's overloaded with a lot of people coming on board, then sometimes it does take a little bit of time. Maybe check your junk. If you don't, hit me up at support@stonybrookssecurities.com and I'll get you all set up. To use options or buy straight, I already explained that. But again, within that, there's a lot of different methods you can use. The one I showed you is just the data of S&P 500 returns. What day of the week? What day is the once-a-week session with you? It's usually either Tuesday or Wednesday night are the webinars. But again, we're in the private Facebook group 24/7. So that looks like the questions here. I'll hang around for another minute or so if anyone else has any questions. But again, guys, this price is a bonus price for you guys being with me here today on this awesome event. What a great event Jeanette and her team put on. This $997 is very much today and today only. As I say, guys, it's a $5,000 purchase price outside of this event. So for you guys today, for being here, for you guys being as excited as you were in the chat, for you guys asking all the questions, for you guys promising that you're going to go out there and utilize these strategies immediately, it's $997 today and today only. And as I mentioned, lifetime access. You'll never be charged for anything else. So I'll hang around for another minute or so. Do you use options or straight underlying stocks? So we have methods that are for people who really like using options. We have methods for people who really like using stocks. We have methods that can be benefited by using futures. So we have all of those. Again, a lot of these are based off of knowing the data. Okay. Now you know that since 2000 and 2018, Tuesday outperformed. So again, knowing that, you can use options, yes. You can use stocks, yes. You could use futures, yes. And we have ways in that obviously make it a little bit better. So good question. SPY. So again, SPY is what I say during the presentation because again, I get the data of the price movements of the S&P 500. And because you can't buy stock in the actual index of S&P 500, the best way to get that exact same exposure as what you saw is by buying SPY. And those methods are included in the package? Yeah, totally. Totally. In the package, we have the best months of the year to invest. We have the best day of the week. I'm getting my voice is getting a little hoarse. Hold on one second. We have the best time of day to invest. We have the best hour during the day to invest. The best 8 days of the year to invest. The best week of the year. I mean, we have a ton of those that are all included in the package. And again, You have lifetime access. So if I improve any of the ones that are currently in there, you get that. And if I come up with new ones, like I came up with a new one last week, you will get that as well. You're welcome. You're welcome for all those people saying thanks. If you guys have any other questions, I'll hang around for a minute. If not, I know Jeanette's got some awesome stuff for you guys to do here before they wrap up for the day.